Businesses in South Africa have been targeted by criminal syndicates dubbed protection mafias, and those who refuse to pay face an uphill battle to keep their doors open. For instance, the construction mafia has become a significant problem across the country, often linked to local business forums or criminal networks. These groups demand a share of construction project profits, and it is estimated that construction profits in Gauteng worth nearly 2 billion rand are under threat as construction mafias, once centered in KwaZulu-Natal, proliferate throughout the country. For more, we are joined by Roelof Viljoen, who is a project manager for Business Against Crime South Africa. Roelof, thank you so much for your time. As I indicated in my intro, we've been having this problem since probably 2014, having it emerge in KZN. It seems to be getting worse each year, and almost 10 years later, we're talking about it. What are we missing here in terms of dealing with the problem?
Well, it's like we have to compare it with most of the crimes. Thank you for having Business Against Crime on your program. It's a privilege. It is parallel to other crimes where the victim has to identify the crime, has to realize it's a crime, report it, and follow through with the legal process. So success in preventing the crime or working against the crime type is all dependent on everyone that's on the right side of the law, if you want to call that, doing the right thing. So, it is the first thing is it comes to identifying and acknowledging that it is a crime and then doing the appropriate process to handle that.
Do you find that people want to report it as a crime, or do they give in to these extortionist requests because it's good business and you just want to keep the ball rolling?
We hear different versions of it, but from the field and from some of the people that we're talking to, there is anecdotes of businesses that would choose to pay. And of course, that is part of then is exacerbating. It's just increasing the problem, because it then makes the crime a possible income stream, and an easy income stream, because the threat don't have to get into real effect of damage or people having physical trauma, but the threat may be enough to get the money rolling.
When we look at government and industry reports, of course, as you alluded to in the beginning, some may say that it hasn't been adequate given the fact that we're still talking about it. But are there some successes? Are there certain aspects where there is coordination and we are getting it right?
There's definitely some successes. One of the anecdotes, and I can't mention any names, is people walking to a business and saying, I will take over the security service of this business. And then a covert operation is set up with the correct people from law enforcement, and the people are actually arrested the next day and go into court within a week. So that happens, but it's depending on people doing the right thing.
I know we talk about it being in the construction sector, but are there concerns that it could move and proliferate or find itself in other sectors like mining, for instance?
There's definitely mining. We've got the National Priority Committee that we've been involved with since 2022, and Minerals Council is on that attending the meeting, and they've got problems. So it comes back to, if you threatened and your production cannot continue, it's already a loss. And even if that action of closing the gates and preventing goods and services from following the normal path, even if that is not accompanied by a demand for jobs, it is still costing the industry. So to some extent, it might be a different crime type, but it is affecting production negatively.
So let's talk about your organization as Business Against Crime South Africa. What kind of call it interactions are you having, whether it's within the people within the sector or within government? What kind of interaction is there to find a solution and a way forward? And are you satisfied with the kind of feedback you're getting from your side?
Well, where Business Against Crime sits at the moment, the non-profit company was created in 1996 upon a request from the then state president Mandela. And since then, what Business Against Crime has been working on is channeling business expertise into law enforcement, into the different parts of government. And it's all controlled within their processes, but just making sure that, number one, that business have their book in order. In other words, aware that specific actions is not allowed. So part of, in this case, is also making business aware that paying the extortionist is not helping. And then preparing the victim for what is necessary to happen afterwards. And then so looking at the criminal justice process from the moment the crime is committed until someone is found guilty and sent to jail, or whatever negative will there be on the perpetrator. So Business Against Crime's role is looking at that full value chain, from identifying the crime right through to supporting the whole process and making sure that even working afterwards in correctional services, we had some work done previously. So it's through the whole value chain in turning around and protecting people that want to be on the right side of the law by using business skills and business resources.
Everyone has been talking about the GNU. There's been a lot of excitement. There's also a lot of hope and expectation in terms of what we want from many of these ministers who have been appointed. What do you want to see, especially as it relates to crime within the space that we've been talking about, the construction mafia, etc., but also for some of the things you've been advocating for? What do you want to see?
Well, it comes back to, it's not most of the work that we're doing is not dependent on the person itself. It's dependent on the responsibility of that person in fulfilling a specific role. So in terms of what is recorded in our laws, what is recorded in our constitution, all of that is good principles that will help with growth. But to do that, we have to make sure that everyone functions according to what their position requires. So making, on the one hand, making it, you have to change the principles in saying, if you're doing your job, whichever function you fit in, make sure that you comply with the law, that you don't help with crime. I mean, part of it is you shouldn't be away or turn your head from crime because of you being afraid of going to jail. But you should turn your head away from crime because it's the right thing to do a proper job and to actually help the country. Whenever crime is involved, someone loses. It's really similar to a war. If you have to look into every situation and making sure that the decisions you make benefits all the parties, and that's the principle.
All right, Roelof, thank you so much for your time. That is Roelof Viljoen, who is a project manager for Business Against Crime South Africa.